Wonderful, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 7th, 2025 Delanco Township Committee meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Patrick.
Here.
Mr. McFadden.
Here.
Mr. Olet.
Here.
Ms. Seuss.
Here, thank you. Also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, Mr. Fox, our Township Engineer, Mr. Coleman filling in for Mr. Heinhold as our Solicitor, Mrs. Laura, Municipal Clerk, Mrs. Russell, Deputy Municipal Clerk, Mr. Fenimore, our Superintendent of Public Works, and Mr. Warren, our Police Chief. Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Janice, could you please read the sunshine and live stream statements?
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the December 30th, 2024 editions. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under the Open Public Meetings Act. If the technology is disrupted for any reason, the township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice.
Thank you. We also have a new live stream camera that we have set up. We have an official camera now over there on the right. So thanks to Matt and Beverly for getting that together and getting that up and running so we don't have to worry about the orientation issues. So we're up to date with our technology now. So thank you. Before we begin, I just wanted to have a moment of silence for two residents that passed away in the past week. Unfortunately, Joanne Elvert, who was the president of the Newton's Landing HOA, she passed away. She was, very involved with senior citizens, and she was an avid gardener, sportswoman. She enjoyed participating in golf and pickleball, and she also ran their events with their bingos and raffles, and was just a wonderful person. I had the honor of actually getting to know her last month at the meeting, so I know some other people in the committee have worked with her, so we're very sorry for her loss, so, and she will be missed. And we also have David Eiler, who was Rob Eiler and Rebecca Eiler's brother. He passed away as well. They're very involved in our Del Rive youth sports, so if we could just have a moment of silence for those two residents. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to some positive news. We have a special presentation, a proclamation honoring Chief Basil Warren. So I'm going to come down and do that. No, you're good. I got that out of the way so it's not blocking everybody. Okay, this evening we have a proclamation honoring Chief Basil Warren II as the first African-American Chief of Police in the Township of Delanco. Whereas the Township of Delanco is proud to celebrate a historic milestone in law enforcement history in Delanco with the appointment of Basil Warren II as our first African-American police chief. Whereas Basil Warren has demonstrated exceptional leadership, dedication to community policing, and commitment to upholding the highest standards of justice throughout his career, and whereas his appointment signifies an important step forward towards greater diversity and representation within our police force, fostering stronger ties between law enforcement and the community he serves, and whereas on September 4th, 2006, Basil Warren became the township's first African-American police officer, and on March 3rd, 2025, was sworn in as the Chief of Police. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Township Committee of the Township of Delanco, on behalf of the Township and its residents, do hereby proclaim this day as a momentous occasion to recognize and celebrate the appointment of Basil Warren II as the first African-American Chief of Police of Delanco. Be it further resolved, we encourage all citizens to join us in extending our support and confidence to Chief Warren as he leads our police department into the new era of inclusivity and accountability. In witness of, by myself, the Deputy Mayor and our committee persons have caused these presents to be executed and is fixed on the 7th day of April, 2025. Congratulations. We appreciate it.
Before we move forward, I have something I'd like to say about an article that I read in the Philadelphia Inquirer, not this Sunday, but last Sunday. One of our residents, I saw him walk in this evening, Frank Clare and his wife Ellie, had a nice article in the paper about their home in Newton's Landing. And the two of them have traveled all over the world for many years and have collected a number of outstanding objects. But what was really nice about the article was that they chose to settle down in Delanco. So Frank, thank you for settling in Delanco, because we certainly have enjoyed having you here.
Okay, moving on to business at hand. We have ordinance 2025-4. A bond ordinance of the Township of Delanco in the County of Burlington, authorizing the acquisition of land and the improvements thereon located at 401 Creek Road, appropriating the sum of $3,600,000. Therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,420,000 in bonds or notes of the township for financing such appropriations and making certain determinations and covenants and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. This is the second reading by title only and public hearing. The hearing is open to the public for ordinance 2025-4. If you would like to say anything about this particular ordinance, you can come up to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Ray Weber, 22 Ships Way. Pertains to this ordinance, it would be great if it would be passed, because it would help the environment, which we all are responsible for. We've got to keep the environment, the trees, the water, the air, all the animals. Let me give you some examples. Last week, I was going over to the clubhouse to play pool, 7 o'clock at night, 5 deer in the fields. We've had some deer that are running through behind Long Creek Road there and stuff too. We've had the red foxes in there and some of the other animals too. We've got to learn to keep this as much open ground as we can, environmentally safe. The noise, I have to try to keep the trees there to keep down some of the noise, as well as all the traffic. Right now, the Creek Road's getting tougher with traffic and stuff. So I would greatly appreciate it if the township would approve this ordinance to buy that particular property. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Anyone else?
Scott Buke, 18 Pennington. Hopefully this is going to go through. I think this covers a wound that Delanco missed years ago in protecting this property. I think we have enough industrial buildings, traffic all on that side of town, which I think gets ignored. I'm glad to see other things going on in town, i.e. Hawk Island and the improvements that are being done there, but I'm not near them, so I won't per se benefit, but the town will benefit by them. Acquiring this property also allows us to make decisions on what we want to do with it going forward. If it's left in the hands of those up in New York, I said once before, I have dealt with a lot of New Yorkers in the Bronx and the whole area up there. Beware, that's all I can say, and I don't mean to speak totally bad of them, but you gotta, they're New Yorkers. They do what they want to do. We're in a different community down here, and I think we need to keep it protected. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, Scott, I'm from New York. I've only been down here 20 years,
gonna
but
say
I won't
that.
take it personally. Long Island. Can you tell?
Still a little shaky.
Coffee and water.
And Crick.
Hi, Tim Kishler, 12 Harris Court in Newton's Landing.
Hi, Tim.
Just want to add my voice and that of my partner Susan to the people here who are in favor of the township taking possession of the land for all the reasons that we said, most importantly that the township will be acting in the best interest of the community members. I don't really have anything bad to say about people from New York.
Thank you, Tim.
My partner's from there, and I'm a Yankee fan, but
Oh, no, you need to sit down.
You gotta leave the building.
You can stay, you can stay.
Oh, look at that, time's up.
but
I know I like you for a reason.
But having said that, it's really a good idea. We've hashed this over for all the different reasons. I just want to reiterate my support. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm John Welsh, I'm 20 Emory, also in Newton's Landing. Also reiterating, I'm in support of everything everybody has said. It also, just looking at that space though, it's all open space with the park and the dog park. And there, it seems insane to stick a big industrial park there that's going to, ruin all the open space and mess up with all the wildlife. So for all those reasons, it just seems like a decision that makes, it's like common sense kind of thing, so, but, thank you.
Thank you very much. You're not a Yankees fan though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's great news. Anyone else?
How do you feel about New Yorkers, Mike?
Well, I worked at Kennedy for 29 years, so. And I drove the Belt Parkway for the same number of, so lots of bruises. Mike Templeton, 621 Delaware. It's a lot different being on this side of the microphone and this side of the dais, so just wanted to kind of catch up myself and maybe some of the public on where this process is right now. Where in the due diligence are you on the acquisition, and when is the commit time or date?
Anybody? Richard?
I think
Tom?
Tom may know better. Doug said that
Yeah.
ERI is in the middle of due diligence right now.
Right.
Mayor, yes, we're still in the due diligence, and Harry, I don't know if you had anything to offer on that, but I know Harry's ERI is still working through those issues.
But is there a set date as far as contractually, letter of agreement, what you're under?
Yes.
June
It's
10th.
June sometime.
So we had, what was it, 120 days, I believe?
Yeah, 120
Okay.
days due
Yeah.
diligence period.
I lost track of it.
Settlements,
Yes.
June 10th.
I don't get the monthly agenda, and so I kind of lose track of time like I
Yeah.
used to in
I
January.
believe ERI will be out there doing their inspections within the next 2 weeks,
Okay.
physical inspections.
Was there a phase 1 or a phase 2 done on the property?
That's part of their inspections.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to elaborate on all this, but stop me, Tom, or anyone, like, go too far. But yeah, there was an initial phase 1 done by the old owner of the sale of property. They're in the process now of working on another one for this property owner. and-
Harry, can you talk into the mic? Thanks.
As part, I go back, so there was a phase 1 initially done years ago.
That was the one that had a lot of mistakes in it, had 9 pages of properties in Albuquerque, New Mexico that were somehow related to it. It had Powerhouse labeled as a church, it just wasn't a good product.
Agreed. That's correct. They are performing a new one. They have an LSRP retained that's working on it. We are requesting some of the documents from him prior to the release of the Phase 1 to help us with our investigation.
Okay.
And we are doing environmental investigation out there. The next couple of weeks, we'll be doing some borings and maybe some GPR, ground penetrating radar, to locate things, et cetera. But we are moving along with that.
Okay, I know I brought up back in November, December, a question on, since there were trailers that were illegally parked out there for some time, that trailers have gotten a bad reputation of storing hazmat and things like that. So whether there was any leakage into the ground and so forth. So
We are going to check that.
good, I'm glad that's in progress. Paying for this, finance, what's the general plan? Is this a short-term bond anticipation note? What's the scheme here?
Not something that I think we're prepared to get into right now. Right now, we're just talking about this specific ordinance for the bond for 3.4.
Is there a time period, what's the time period where you have to go to long-term financing? Where you have to make that decision?
It's 10 years,
10 years, yeah.
So you can go short-term financing for up to 10 years?
correct.
Okay. In the budget report, the 5-year outlook or forecast for debt service, does that include what this would incur?
For the budget that we're doing right now?
Yes.
Yes,
It does?
yes.
Okay.
Correct, Richard?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what document he's looking at, but I'm pretty sure it does. Everything we planned for, including down payment
The
money.
summary budget
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
website?
Yep,
The summary
Yeah,
budget,
that does.
it includes it, yes.
Right, that's not debt service, that's the overall budget.
Okay. Something for your consideration, as I've been involved in some of this over the years.
Sure.
DEP has a new set of rules coming out, probably effective this summer or fall, regarding, or
Wanna
under a
hurry?
program called Resilient Environments and Landscapes. And what I've got there is a screenshot of 401 Creek Road showing the effect of that increased flood elevation. It's FEMA plus 5 feet is what they're adding. So obviously, what comes with that is possibly restrictions to what you can do there, how much of the land is available for whatever purposes, whether the township retains the property or whether it's turned over to a developer. And obviously, the cost and the insurance that goes with all that. So I wanted you to have that in your file to consider and look at, so you've got the complete picture of what's going on. And there's some other background information on that, the DEP's rulemaking. So that's all the comments I have. I just want to ensure that you had that information. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Thanks. I think you did make us aware of this when you were on committee last year. We were cognizant of that floodplain change, but thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Last call? Okay, I'll close this hearing to the public. Can I get a motion, please, to adopt ordinance 2025-4?
I'll second.
Motion by Kate, second by Phil. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
No.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes, thank you. Okay, meeting is now open to the public for comments and questions on general business. This is session 1. You can come up to the podium and state your name and address. And this will be session 1, now open to the public.
Ray Weber, 22 Ships Way. On behalf of the Newton's Landing residents, my wife, myself, and everyone, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank the police chief and his people for coming out and helping with the medical emergency that occurred on Saturday. I happened to be there. I'd like to personally thank Matt for helping out there too. He came out. the other fire guys who came out also, the ambulance squad, and the paramedics who came. And there's one house at 200 Russ Farm Way, who's a tenant there. She came over and was performing CPR on her, on the lady too, on Joanne. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank and be representative of that. So I really want to thank you guys. The ambulance guys, they worked on her for an hour and stuff, so Matt knows and stuff, but I just want to thank you guys. And Chief, I want to thank your guys. They got there in less than 2 minutes. And they were working on her and stuff, but it's a shame it happened, but I just want to thank you guys. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ray. And we're so sorry for the family's loss and for the community's loss as well. Anyone else?
Mike O'Donnell, 17 Emery Way. I asked this question about 6 months ago. The tax revenue, are we still expecting an increase in revenue from the 3 warehouses that are unoccupied?
So they've already been added to the tax rolls. Richard, do you want to speak on that?
No, those, the added assessments have nothing to do with whether they're occupied or not. Their added assessments are on the tax rolls.
Right.
I wanted to be sure that they're still being taxed, whether they have trailers
Correct.
going in.
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Do you have any idea what the revenue is on those 3 properties?
Not off the top of my head.
It's probably substantial, I would think.
Yeah.
They're paying full tax rate. I don't know the amount off
Yeah,
the
there's no
top of my
pilot or
head
anything, so
either,
they're
Yeah.
full
I know
amount.
they're over 100,000 on each. I can tell you that much.
Okay, and it's, that property, those properties were under farmland, I guess, so we weren't getting much out of that.
Right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Jennifer Fernandez, 1405 Second Street, again.
Again,
Um,
hi, Dan.
Hello, how are you? Just up here to vent, I guess, some of my frustrations. We are renovating our property at 1405 Second Street, and I have had 4 confirmed inspections and 4 missed inspections. We have had contractors sitting there waiting. I have waited, my husband has waited. We have received no phone calls, no messages, no nothing. Extremely frustrating, it's holding up the process. And then coming here, I was told one time my husband received a voicemail apologizing. The inspector called out sick. That same afternoon, we received another call. We were never on the schedule. We spent over $5,000 for permits, and I can't even proceed on my properties. I have wasted time, I've wasted contractors' time, and a lot of money. I don't know if something can be done with the communication, the process. I'm not quite sure what else to do. So I just wanted to advise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Tim Kishler, 12 Harris Court. A couple times since the last meeting that I was able to attend, I saw that the road surface by the train tracks here, by the Delanco train station, had been coming apart as you approach the track. And I made a few calls, and they got somebody out there and it fixed it. And then about a week later, the road surface in the middle of the tracks was all broken apart, and I called them, and they got somebody right out there again to fix it. And then, I didn't realize this, but they refer to it as pads. They replaced like a whole section that I think they even lower, and it looks like they have handles to do that. So it just made me wonder if maybe these pads can handle the weight of, big trucks that are, coming through here. And if maybe it shouldn't be weight restricted there. And then extrapolating from that, I thought, well, maybe the rest of the roads can't handle it either and are going to get in just as bad a shape. And maybe by restricting the weight on certain roads, we could divert or control the way the truck traffic was maintained. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Peter Silverberg, 30 Wolverton Place. We senior citizens have received these blue booklets on how to get rebates, and they're, let's face it, I went to MIT and I can't figure out how to fill it out. And so the tax collector has made a few hours available for people, but tomorrow is like the last day, or Wednesday is going to be the last day she's there. Please ask her to have more sessions available, because until the October deadline comes up, a lot of us need help.
Do you mean her public hours that you can come here and meet with her? Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah,
her sessions that she was
Just
at?
special sessions, you can have the senior citizen booklet helped out, because it makes no sense. And,
She has set up some special hours
Yeah,
for
but it's-
that, and she also had two meetings here at the township, one during the day and one in the evening. The Delanco Senior Group is having her come to our meeting tomorrow, but it would be nice if maybe your homeowners association establishes a day that maybe Erin can come out there and go over the form with you, because she is going to different senior groups. But it would be nice if you could come up with a date, and I'm sure that she would be agreeable. The township would certainly let her come out and go over the format with you. She has spoken about it at different times, so I'm sure that would probably be the best way to settle, so several people from Newton's Landing can be at the meeting, but that's what I would recommend at your next HOA meeting or something, Peter?
Right, maybe you could.
Maybe you can work on
Okay.
that.
Thank-
Yeah, so that she could meet in your community room there and have your members present so she can present it to you. Because it's quite a form, I mean, I have it.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
She's going to the senior room, she's been.
Oh, you know, the trees will wait, the sidewalks will wait.
Yeah.
Anybody else? We'll have another one at the end of the meeting as well, if anything pops into your head. But I will close session 1 to the public, move on to comments and reports. Start with our professionals. Mr. Fox, talk into the mic.
Got it. Okay, first off, the crossings. We have a meeting scheduled for this Wednesday with the HOA and I believe their consultants and some township members to review their concerns as well as our punch list work that's happening out there. And so we can get all on the same page and have a game plan, how to address this with the developer. So after that meeting, we should know quite a bit more. The 2023 road program, the last thing that the contractor has to do to finish is that there's a ramp on Union Avenue, Union and 3rd, that is still, his third time out there trying to fix it. He's supposed to come out again tomorrow. If he does finally fix that, we can close that project out and move on. That's the last thing we're waiting for. The 2024 local aid program, that's the state grant money. Those plans are already approved by the state, so we're looking to advertise the end of this week, the 11th. The tentative bid opening of the 13th, of May 13th. I'm confirming that with Richard and Janice. But any time during that week would be fine. And then we can award it at the May 19th committee meeting, that project. And that project includes repaving Chestnut Street from Union to, well, basically up to Burlington Avenue, includes part of Spruce as well. And then it also is Walnut Street from Burlington Avenue to Hickory Street. So those two roads will be getting done. I would imagine construction will start around June. So we'll keep you posted on that.
And Harry, we're going to move forward with making Chestnut Street one-way, correct?
Yes, we're looking at that to, I don't see a problem with that, and we're looking at it now just to see which way is the best approach to make it one way, in what direction.
Okay, thanks.
And are these, is public service still going to be tearing up more roads to put in gas lines? Are they going to do the whole town like they're doing the Riverside?
They're doing several more roads, not doing the entire town, but they are doing several more roads. The north part of town has already been done.
Right.
So it's basically down in this area. Yes, the short answer is yes.
So
And
do
when-
we know if they're going to be doing these roads that we're going to have recently?
No.
We actually
he's
coordinated
working
with
them.
them
Oh, okay,
to
good.
make sure that they did, that's why they did Delaware Avenue and these two roads with their own crews,
Right.
which took
'Cause I
forever
saw
for them to do.
Chestnut was done, yeah.
Yeah.
But I know they did Washington a few years ago, right after we did it, remember?
That's, yeah, sometimes if they have to do it to make their loop, they do it, and then we require them to repave the entire road. And again, on what we typically do on roads that they are working on, generally, they're responsible to pave half the road. Sometimes we will, if it's on our radar that we're gonna be paving it ourselves, we won't have them pave that, and we'll have them pave a full width road someplace else. So we do trade-offs on
Right.
that with.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, good. Okay, just want to make sure that there's coordination here. I did see Chestnut done.
Yes, they did, that's why they were out there with their own crews.
Yeah.
And then the next phase, if people are watching this work out there, will go much quicker. They have a subcontractor, that's all they do is
They just, yeah.
put in
so,
lines,
yeah.
so it'll be much quicker than next.
And just on that topic, we talked about at the last meeting, the resident came up and asked about getting that PSE&G redoing that stone road at the end of Delaware Avenue. They just did that last week, and it's
Oh, good.
all finished now.
Oh, good, thanks.
Yep.
Matt.
And is it a 5-year moratorium on our roads? Is that what it is,
That's
Harry?
correct.
Okay. Meaning, when we pave a road, it's 5 years. If the utilities have to disturb it, they're responsible for paving the full section of it, as opposed to just the half that they're doing work on.
That's good to know. Thank you, Harry.
You're welcome. The Zubrook Seawall and Park projects, I'm meeting with the contractor that did the seawall work, Capella, tomorrow to review. He has some punch list work that he has to get done before the next contractor can come in. Also, he did agree to leave his fence up there until the other contractor puts up his safety fence. Then he'll come back and take his away. So after tomorrow, I'll know better, I'll have a better handle on scheduling for the new project. We are coordinating that with a new contractor, Home and Garden Landscaping, and working that out so we're not interfering with his schedule as well. He has been making submittals for the park, which takes some time to get his submittals together and sent to us, and then we approve them and send them to him. So I anticipate within the next week, you'll see some, other than the punch list work, some actual action on the park itself.
That's exciting. Harry, real quick, circling back to the 2025 DOT local aid grant, just because we have some members from Newton's Landing. We did receive a grant in the amount of $233,420 to redo Newton's Landing Boulevard and Edgewood Avenue, so that'll be our next road program. And when is that slated for?
That will be done in the fall.
In the fall, okay, perfect. Thank you, sorry, go ahead.
Also, some good news on that project as well is I met with the electrical, with PSA&G, and they are going to expedite this. Once we get the permit in, they said they can have it done in 2 weeks. They're going to run a new line down Union, and there's a light pole by the boat ramp on Union. They're going to replace that light pole and have it all ready for our service, and our contractor will tie in to that service. And there'll be no charge by PSE&G to provide that service.
Oh, great.
So that's the new electrical service for the Zurbrigg Waterfront Park. We need electric there. We're going to be installing several light poles and security cameras. So we need to have electric and also a sprinkler system. So PSE&G will be doing that for no charge as far as providing this service.
And last, I have the the 2024 CDBG grant for the audience. That's Community Development Block Grant. That is federal money that is allotted to the state. And every county handles it different. In Burlington County, they take this big pool of money from the federal government, and they give that out to different municipalities based on applications that the towns provide to them. We did receive a grant for $75,000 to replace handicap accessible ramps throughout town. That project is on the agenda tonight for award. The initial bidder, low bidder, as it worked out, we weren't real happy with his experience. We personally have had him in another town. We didn't really feel that he could perform, but we couldn't find any real legal reasons to deny him. However, after talking to him, his bid that he submitted was, he made a mistake.
He underbid himself.
He underbid
Yes.
himself. He
Yes.
actually, on one of his bid items, it should have been $17, and he put $7. So you'll see in your, I think your agenda packet, there may be
Yes.
a letter from them indicating they want to withdraw, and we're quite happy, to be honest with you, that he did do that. So the next contractor we are familiar with, and feel that he's qualified, they're qualified to perform. So that is on the agenda tonight, to award that project. And that's all I have, Max.
Thank you. We're still waiting on our 2025 CDBG. I see you, you met with the county to review that application. When was that?
Yeah, met about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Which was kind of unusual in their process to call in for basically an interview of our project.
Right.
They indicated that they would, if the funds are available by the feds, that we have a very good chance of getting all that we asked for. And very probably this will be the last round of grants given by CDBG unless something else changes. But as far as the county's concerned, they're very favorable for the application if the money's there.
It's a big if. Great. Thank you, Harry. Mr. Coleman, do you have anything to report?
Mayor, thank you. I know Doug is proceeding on 401 Creek. Title came back, that's clear. And I've had an opportunity to speak with our financial advisor and Julie, our CFO, just to structure the issue, but we're just proceeding. That's all I have now.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Schwab, Township Administrator.
Okay, thank you. Just to note, next meeting is the public hearing on the 2025 budget. We posted on the website all the budget information. We've just added last week an addendum which has some additional details, the multi-year history and tax rate histories and so on, significant changes. And we also posted the state's municipal user-friendly budget for those people who want to really do a deep dig into all the potential financial things. So if anyone has any questions on that, best thing to do is go on the website, but we can answer them. Second thing is that we submitted to Senator Singel's office, as he's requested for the last 2 years, for any special funds. We did get funds 1 year for the Field of Dreams field lighting. This time we asked for the Union Avenue boat ramp reconstruction. We gave a bunch of alternatives, so you can pick his favorites. If there's money. He doesn't think there's going to be, but if there is, the playground that had been originally proposed for Field of Dreams that we did not get a state regular grant for. There's some plans to upgrade Gateway Park, adding things from the historical information and environmental. Maybe we can get some funds for that, because it's a small amount. And so we'll We generally wait when the state budget is adopted. If they allocate money to the individual state senators, then they can allocate it to the towns. And we'll see. The chances are very low, they said, but we give it a try. That's all I have.
Thank you. What was the, we also we had 4 things, right?
Yeah,
So we
so
had-
we also put in the school district parking lot, Pearson, because that had been asked for a couple of years ago. So I just keep putting the same things that we didn't get the prior years and add anything new. The only thing we added new this year was the Union Avenue boat ramp, the other things we had asked for before.
Okay, thank you. Did you get that, Joanne? Okay. Okay, department heads, Mr. Fenimore.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We put out a half a ton of asphalt for potholes. We picked up 60 cubic yards on our spring cleanup. We picked up 36 cubic yards of brush we chipped up for the brush pickup. Finally we cleaned 47 storm drains out, which were the ones that were kind of clogged. We finally put all the signs up at Hawk Island. Also got the signs up for the history board, so they're happy. I think we set an all-time record of signs this last couple of years.
Keeping you busy.
We dragged all the ball fields for the, all 6 of the fields we did. They asked us to, some residents about Hickory Street, so we got that done for them. We're making mulch tomorrow. Delran's bringing the tub grinder over, so we'll be making some mulch. And also, on the columns, I think it might be a good idea that we think about trimming the 3 big sycamore trees now before we get started and have to. There's a lot of half branches that it bugs me that I don't know.
Could you get
But I mean,
estimate for that and just
yeah,
take care of it?
Just the 3 trees, just to, clean
Yeah.
them out and cut them back a little bit, so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the time to do it, not wait until we start having problems with it,
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you.
So we're good with having John get that estimate and just let Richard know and he'll let us know. And
Yeah.
I think that's taking a proactive approach, because you're right, there are some big dead branches there.
Yeah, and they're going to start construction in the next couple of weeks.
No,
so-
like, this week.
Yeah, the 12th, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely, John.
Speaking about the Hawk Island signs, Matt, do you want to let everybody know
They're
about that?
all up.
Well, what's they all? Tell everybody like
We
they don't know what you're
have,
talking about.
we have a plan that we put together when we opened the trails of all signage with different routes that are out there, different trails out there. The main route, we call it the Blue Trail. That's the one that goes from the Vine Street gate all the way out to the point. And there are some spurs off there that loop around the lake, and one that heads back towards Hawk Island Marina on the south side, and a spur on the north. But there are all signs out there now with each trail. There are directional signs to know how to get out of Hawk Island. So if you've never been there before and you're just wandering around and you have no idea where the heck you're at, there are signs now that say exit to Vine Street with some nice arrows. So I worked with Kenny from Public Works. We went out there. We did some field adjustments after they were put up. And there are a couple more that we just ordered today, actually, just to further clarify, because when you're designing something on paper, it's a lot different than when you're actually out there. So we have a couple more that we're going to be putting out there once Kenny is free and we have the signs in. And we'll have the map up on the website, and I just gave copies to the chief tonight that all the officers could have in their patrol cars for when they're going to be working out there. But,
And you also did like emergency access points, so if somebody has to call 911, they can say I'm at point E5 or something too?
Right, well, Bs and Ws
Yes.
and the different colors, yeah, but there's signs out there on the main trail, every 1/10 of a mile, for example, it says B3. So if you happen to have an accident and you're near sign B3, you see sign B3, you call 911 and you tell them, I'm on Hawk Island at sign B3, and hopefully Central will put that in there so they let the responding units know. And I did email Central Communications last week, so they have all of that information as well.
Great.
it's-
And I also emailed and talked to John about repurposing the concrete picnic tables and benches that we took from the Column-Zerberg Waterfront Park and putting them out at Hawk Island along the lake there. So we're going to go out this week and see what we can do about getting some stuff out there. Might as well, right? We have this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a comment to Scott. Even though Matt is from New York, I have to tell you, he gets the job done.
He does.
He has done a great job.
Yeah.
All good. And it's, you know, it's been nice. I've been out there a number of times, both with Kenny and with the mayor and by myself, just taking some walks out there. And it's nice that we actually have residents responsibly using the trails right now. There's a gentleman I saw out there a couple times just feeding the geese in the lake, bringing bags of bread, and
Yeah, but don't do that.
other people
would feed the
other
geese?
people just walking out there and enjoying it. And you know, it's nice to
There's always been people
see
back
people
there when
using
we're
it
back there.
legally.
Yeah. Legally, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And putting the trash in the trash.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a novel concept.
Yes.
And John, speaking of trash, we had an epic milestone where we added a trash can to the trail under the railroad bridge now. So he
Finally.
did that for us within 24 hours of my request, and it's full every time you empty it, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
The county was supposed
Yeah.
to provide that trash can.
They did, and they just never did it. So I said to John, just take care of it. I
Yeah.
said, there's literally no trash can along that entire
I know.
stretch of that trail there. So thanks for doing that. Okay, Chief Warren, the second.
Hey, everyone. Still on topic, we were able to put in service now our off-road vehicle, so we've been able to actually go back and patrol Hawk Island in depth, as well as Pennington Park and West Ave Nature Trail. I'm sure you're happy about that, John. And we got good response from the residents, so very good. You guys allowed us to have that. As far as for our department, for numbers, to date, we have 57 total police cases. There have been 203 motor vehicle violations issued with 405 motor vehicle stops, and we are at 3,102 calls and counting. The guy's been busy. The 2 officers that started 3 weeks ago are doing very well. They'll finish their FTO field training within another 3 weeks, and then they'll be right in line and moving ahead. So we're looking pretty good, thankful. I'll get these to the officers as well as far as the map trails. And, because again, one of the issues, as you guys know, it's very difficult to get our vehicles back there. So again, with the off-road vehicle, it's been a godsend.
Yeah.
So especially with Pennington Park, because Pennington Park, again, I explained to you, explained to the residents, we were only able by vehicle to only patrol basically the parking lot, where the playground area is and where the dog park is. So now we're actually able now to get back all the way out to where the creek area is and where people are actually walking, they can actually see us and know that we're present. Because the park rangers primarily open in the morning and close in the evening, the gate. So they're not really there during the day. So now we can actually have a presence out throughout the whole park. So it's, again, people have been happy about that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a great little UTV, so it's
absolutely.
2-seater with
Yes.
a little bed in the back.
Yes.
Outfitted with your police lights and logo.
Yes.
And it's really neat. I don't know if you maybe want to post a picture on the Delanco Police
Actually,
Facebook?
my administrative assistant will be doing that tomorrow.
Great.
Yeah, so.
We're on the
yeah.
same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice tool that,
Absolutely.
we appreciate having, so, awesome. And with the weather getting warm, it's nice to have that presence out there.
And one last thing I want to just bring it to your attention. I give some information to you guys. The Attorney General's office put out a directive, actually last year, with a new program called Arrive. And what it's based off of is our mental health community, making sure that we're providing proper services to them. And with the Arrive program, it's more preemptive. A lot of times for us as officers, we get calls for service once someone's already in crisis. So then we're going out there with a crisis facility, actually facilitator from Lords through a skip unit But what they're trying to do now is get services to these people prior to them having problems, making sure they're taking their medications, or making sure they have access to care. So what will happen now, if someone calls, we can actually call and request someone from their RIDE program to come out, and they'll come and assist and aid us with that. Because more often than not, again, it's a situation that's volatile, because the person is already in crisis, already manic, and now we're trying to figure out how to provide assistance. So this is going to help that. But with that, they're going to ask for, obviously, some buy-in from the townships with the program. So I'll be giving you more information soon, but I just want to give you a heads up on what we're going to be working with. So.
Okay, that's great. That's a great program.
Chief, I have a question regarding Burlington Avenue, the parking. It appears right on Burlington Avenue from the corner at Rancocas down to Lou's Deli, trucks are actually parking to block the driveway into Shirley Rossi's parking area there.
What trucks?
There's a couple white trucks. They're residents probably. I don't know. But the thing is when I go there to decorate the park, I pull in that lot usually because I have to cart some stuff. And I can't get out of it because I can't see, because they're parking beyond, like, they're overlapping her driveway entrance.
Yeah, like right up to the apron.
They're right up to the apron.
But that's one of the things where you got to call when it's happening. I can have somebody come and move it. So as soon as, like, literally, when you pull into that lot and you see that,
Yeah,
call.
it happens. It
Call
happens to me
call
all the
immediately.
time. The last 2 times I've been parking on Burlington Avenue because I can't get out.
Yeah, we'll call immediately, and I'll have somebody come and move it.
Okay, so
Yeah,
is there
absolutely.
anything else we can do besides having an officer come out and, because they're not in their truck, obviously, they're
No, but
parked.
if they're blocking the roadway
Yeah.
or the exit, then they can be towed. So, but if they're there, well,
Or
this
they're
is
parking
this is what I would have the officers do.
Okay.
If you can't get out, number one, we're gonna look at the registration, we're gonna see who owns the vehicle. We're gonna knock on the door and ask them to move the vehicle. If they're not there, obviously, they can assist you with getting out, but a tow stick will be affixed to the vehicle for them to move it. But obviously, it'll allow you to get out.
I think when the officers sometimes are parked on Burlington Avenue, it seems like things are better along that area.
Problem though is, we're
I know-
busy, so
I
it's
know
hard for
you're
them,
busy,
it's hard for them
but-
to sit there. They try to sit when they can.
Yeah.
Or, you gotta understand too, we're gonna put them where they're prioritized. So, when we're getting more complaints about traffic issues, possibly at, like Edgewood and Burlington Avenue, Director Patrol is gonna be put there, not to the entrance of Shirley Rossi's business. Now, if there's a problem, and we can get around that, I can have another officer, because that's helping now too, because we have more officers. Now I
Yeah,
could
that's
actually,
what I'm
so
thinking,
now I
we
can
have
put
more.
somebody there, absolutely. But yeah, but when you encounter that, like, call immediately, and I'll have somebody come and either, like I said, help you get out, number one,
Yeah.
so you can leave.
Right.
But then we'll find out who owns the vehicle and tell them to move it. And again, if they're not there, we'll sticker it then.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be towed.
I think more often than not, it's more that they're parking butt up against the driveway apron and you can't see around that truck.
That's what I'm saying, so
Yeah.
what you can't do is, that's
But they're not
illegal.
technically parked, they're parked legally, right? So is there anything we can do as part as
Well,
far
no,
as?
but, so according to ordinance, for Title 39 statutes, if they're blocking, for example, obviously, you can park up, you're close to a driveway, but if you're parked so close that they can't safely exit, that's a summons.
Okay.
You get a ticket for it.
Yeah.
Because you know what you did.
Yeah.
You're,
Good.
and they're being selfish.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
They may not even,
Yeah.
who knows that they even,
Yeah, but you
yeah.
can, that there are adults parking, we know when we
Yeah.
park, we park.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, they just be more cognizant and aware of it. And a lot of times too, it could be, oh, well, they didn't see a lot of cars in the parking lot, so they felt that they could, but no, like, you're still
Yeah.
obstructing someone to be able to actually safely exit
Right.
the parking lot.
That's why you don't see any cars in the parking lot, because it's dangerous to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, let us know and we'll handle the meeting
Okay, I will
accordingly.
do that.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
So there's no regulation that you have to be like 5 feet from
No,
the,
that's why I just said, yeah, you can't
Yeah.
park, you can't butt up to someone's driveway like that, no.
can't,
Yeah,
You can't. That's why I said, absolutely, it'd be a summons. Yeah, because you have to be able to safely be able to exit your own driveway. Your neighbor can't do that to you. You know, you have to safely park your vehicle, but not that close to someone's entrance of their driveway.
but there's no hard number, I guess is what.
There's a statute for it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
No,
it's
like, is
Title
it
39
5
statute for
feet or is it just the
it.
site
Off the top of my head, I don't
triangle?
remember, but
Okay, gotcha.
I'll get it to you and I'll
But there
email it to you.
probably is,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
but there absolutely is a statute for that.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
And, go ahead.
Two things. First, this may be a Harry question, but at the ice cream bar, a resident brought up to my attention that there's no one-way sign onto Vine Street, kind of heading toward the school from the ice cream bar at the entrance. Should there be one?
It's one way,
Yeah.
right?
It's one way.
Correct. Yeah, put one at the entrance, kind of where the
Ice
corner
cream
park
bars.
is. And the second
But the
thing.
reason why though, because when you turn like, there's, the sign is a little further at the other end.
Yeah.
Where the signs say do not enter.
Right.
That are on Buttonwood, as you know, 'cause you live
Oh, yeah.
Buttonwood. So I think that historically, I think that's why they didn't put that one at that end. Because if you see it across the street, it's still pointed across. When you can turn onto, but obviously people aren't turning off of
Yeah.
Vine onto Burlington Avenue.
Yeah, a resident brought to my attention just this week, and I mentioned the call when it happens, but I guess there were a couple cars that went to the ice cream bar and then just did a U-turn and went back out to Burlington Avenue.
Yeah, but there's a sign on there, on the street, this is one way.
So add that to
Yeah, at the
your,
end.
your
At the
sign
end,
list
yeah.
there, John?
Sorry to keep on making you do signs, John,
signs.
but,
That's your favorite
and,
thing?
That was the sign that was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's
So-
I
gone.
haven't seen it,
It must
okay.
have,
It must be
possibly got
missing.
hit or knocked over, yeah, but it was a sign there.
But I don't,
Yeah, there was always a sign there.
usually if we know it's on the ground or something, we
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that. I even checked online Google Street View, and it
You
didn't
probably
look
have
like there ever
people
was
coming from out of
one
town
there.
too that don't know any
Yeah,
different
oh,
and don't pay
100%.
attention and, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, back to Ray's comment before, awesome job by Officer Orff and Officer Malik on Saturday with CPR. When I arrived, they were doing really good, high-quality CPR. They were focused, they were in the zone, they were doing a good job, so just really good job to them.
Thank you, I'll let them know. Thank you.
Resident on Facebook yesterday brought up the kids on the dirt bikes and those mini
Yeah.
bikes.
So with the bikes, the e-bikes, they are classified as a regular bicycle. They're under 50 cc's, so we handle them as such. One of the issues that we have always is no one calls when they witness these acts. The police can't do anything that we didn't witness as far as giving summons or any type of ordinance violations. So we encourage the residents prior to going on the Facebook page to call the police first.
Right.
What happens normally is that one of our officers will be approached an hour or so after said incident. And then we tell them, hey, well, you want to sign a complaint? Yes, come on to the station, we'll meet you there. They never come.
Right.
Because again, because once it's put on them, the onus that, okay, well, you saw something, come sign a complaint, they don't come. When we encounter, because it's only like 3 or 4 young children that we know for certain that are riding them. They're told to make sure they have their helmets on, which they do. We'll tell them, hey, why don't you get up on the sidewalk, you know? But again, we handle it just as a regular bicycle, and that's through our state. Our state recognizes e-bikes just as a regular bicycle. So yeah, when we see things, we handle accordingly, but more often than not, we're being told about it secondhand.
So does that mean that if they're coming down, they're in the middle of the road, they're coming down a one-way street the wrong way, they can do that?
No, that's why I said they fall under the same rules as bicycles.
Okay,
No.
so a bicycle can only go one way on
They're
a
supposed
one-way
to,
road?
they're supposed to be.
Follow
yeah.
traffic
Yeah.
laws.
Just
They
have
have to
traffic
stop
laws,
at stop
yeah.
So
signs
then
and
I'll
everything.
call.
yeah.
Absolutely.
There are like 3 of them that do
Yeah,
it on
absolutely.
Rancocas all the time.
Yeah,
You
they're
see
supposed
them?
to.
Yeah.
Little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this case, the
It's
one,
dangerous.
the
They're
one
in
from the
the middle of
weekend, the resident actually messaged me and said, hey, do you know if this is legal? I said, call the police. And they did go out there. Your officers did go out there. And the resident told me afterward that the one kid without the helmet on was told to go put the helmet on, and that was that.
And
So
again, that's
really-
what we normally would do for just a regular bicycle. Go get your
Right.
helmet and put your helmet on.
Yeah.
And we just try to encourage that. But one of the things too, which we encourage are, parental involvement, or the lacking of thereof.
Right.
Yes.
Because they're purchasing these vehicles or these bikes for their children and not buying the necessary safety equipment. So they should go hand in hand, the bike and the helmet, so.
Agree.
And that doesn't fall under, I know we have a section of the code about mopeds. That's
It's not a moped.
separate, that's totally
It's not a
different than them.
moped because it's a
I don't know
e-bike.
enough about those type
No,
of.
it's not a moped, because it's considered like an e-bike, it's a battery operated, you're plugging it in.
Okay.
The same way the little battery operated, what do you call those tot scooter? No,
Yeah.
the little ones that kids can get
The
in.
hoverboards?
riding- Yeah, riding in your backyard, it's a battery, you
Yeah.
plug it in, charge it, it's the same thing. So it falls in the same category as a regular bicycle.
Been many decades since since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, when they first came out, that was the whole thing, and that's why it helped increase the population. That's why when you buy an e-bike, you go to a bicycle store to buy that.
Right.
You don't go to the motorcycle store. You go to a
Right.
bike shop to
Gotcha.
purchase that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We continue to encourage them to call the not emergency number
Please,
and.
or no, I I don't care.
Emergency,
Call 911.
yeah.
Just call.
Gotcha.
But honestly, we
Yeah,
don't,
yeah. I don't care who you call,
Just
just
call.
not
But when
me.
it happens, we want to encourage to call when it happens, and
Yep.
let us know.
We do our best to let people know that. Same with the solicitors. There is no solicitation permits out there other than Mr. Softy and Kona Ice. So if someone comes to your door, they are not authorized, please call. Anybody else for any questions for the chief? Mrs. Lore.
Just a few events coming up. Saturday, April 26th, we have the Delanco Spring Townwide Yard Sale. And to be on the yard sale map listing, please call the office by April 17th to add your address to the map. And then the following Saturday, we have two events. Saturday, May 3rd. The first one is the shredding event. That's here at the Delanco Township Municipal Building front parking lot from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., rain or shine. And then also that same day, Saturday, May 3rd, we have our community cleanup day, spring cleanup day, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Public Works Garage, right next door at 750 Coopertown Road. And residents can bring trash, recyclables, plastic tires, TVs, and electronics. So those are three very popular events coming up soon. I don't know, John, if you had anything you wanted to add about the community cleanup day?
Just, I think it's four tires per house.
4 tires per house. And how about the rim? Sometimes we get asked about
You
rims.
can leave the rim on.
People can leave the rim on, okay?
And then we have, if you had concrete, we have a concrete base and brush too also.
Brush and concrete also. Okay. Thank you.
And as we always do during the townwide yard sale, come up to the firehouse, we'll be selling hoagies for a fundraiser.
Oh, yeah.
Turkey, American, and Italian.
That's
Starting
3
to-
weeks from now.
I know.
Okay. You're really excited about it, though.
Yeah.
Got to remind the people. Starting at 9 o'clock in the morning.
This Saturday is the Easter egg hunt, and then I believe I saw EAB is doing a tree
Yeah, tree
giveaway at
giveaway,
Public
yeah.
Works too.
Yeah.
Great. Lots of fun things happening now that spring has sprung. Anything else, Janice or Bev? Great. Moving on to the consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Anyone have anything they would like to remove? Okay, Resolution 2025-59, a resolution authorizing the cancellation of certain balances on the General Capital Fund balance sheet. Resolution 2025-60, authorizing 1 handicap parking space on Walter Avenue for 312 Burlington Avenue. Resolution 2025-61, authorizing the purchase of security cameras and related equipment and software under cooperative pricing agreement. Resolution 2025-62, award of a bid and contract for handicap ramp improvement project under the Community Development Block Grant Program. Payment of bills, account current fund $1,313,279.79. Payroll $192,053.07. Capital fund $9,275. Dog fund $450. Can I get an approval of the consent agenda? Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Kate. Roll call.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
Mrs. Patrick?
Yes.
Mr. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes, thank you. Any correspondence, Janice?
Yes, Mayor. 2 pieces of correspondence, and they're entered in order of being received. First one is email correspondence. I would like to be considered for an appointment to the Delanco Shade Tree Commission as a full voting member. Thank you, Al Grabo. And the second piece of correspondence, also writing to express interest in serving as a member of the Delanco Shade Tree Commission, and that is Michael Templeton. So those 2 pieces of correspondence have been received. And you do have vacancies on the Shade Tree Commission.
Do you know how many vacancies we have?
Yeah, you have, about, yeah, let's go with that. I think there's 2 regular voting positions and Oh, you have it, thank you. Yes, you have 2 regular 5-year term voting positions, and you have both alternate 1 and alternate 2. So there are 4 vacancies on the Shade Tree Commission.
Thank you.
Okay, meeting is open to the public for comments and questions. This is session 2. Meeting is open. Come up to the podium, name and address, please.
Scott Buke, same 18 Pennington Court. I do want to go on record, not all New Yorkers are bad.
Thank you, Scott.
I do have a question. I've noticed down on Creek Road, there's a lot of stakes with the little red tags on them. Seems to be a lot of surveying going on. Does anybody know what that might be about?
If it's the little red flags on the metal things, that is
Utility.
yeah, that's utility mark
Well,
out.
I think they're wood stakes, and they're on the Carvana and FedEx side of the road. And they go on for quite a while down towards Wawa.
We have not been privy to anything.
Okay,
I haven't seen them yet.
okay. All right. That's it for me.
Thank you. Any more non-Yankees fans? Hi.
Ray Weber, 22 Ships. Last meeting, I gave to the committee here a listing for the architectural preservation area behind the farmhouse. I was wondering what the status on that was. Is it going to be approved or not, or whatever?
Who has that? Janice, you have that right?
That has been
Sent to Doug?
sent
Yeah.
to Doug to review,
Okay.
and then to draft a resolution.
Okay,
Should be on the next agenda.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Hello again, Mike Temple, 621 Delaware. PSE&G, the work that they've done, the trench work and then patches on top. For the roads that aren't going to get paved in the near future, the PSE&G job is just awful. I mean, they're clods of, it's kicking out. I find nuggets of blacktop in, the yard and the sidewalk. Is there a way the PSE&G can come back and do a decent patch?
Yeah, I will get, first I'll get them to sweep it.
Yes.
To get the debris out of the street. And then we'll take a look at it, and if there's patches that need to be done, they'll
But
come
it's
back.
just, it's uneven. I
Oh,
mean,
it's a mess.
Stripes Pavilion over in Riverside is a, anti-tank trap. I mean, it's just awful.
I know, unfortunately, like I said, it was Public Service's own crew that did
Yeah.
that. And we are, it is in the plans to repave Delaware Avenue where
I
Public
think
Service.
up to Walnut, from Walnut on down to the Zerberg and beyond.
No.
Yeah.
It's the whole path
the
that they
whole
dug
thing.
up, the whole thing. And we're doing it, not doing it under the road, we're doing
Okay,
it.
so you added that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yep.
And the time frame for that, just so I can,
The fall.
Right after
Okay.
the we wanted to do Waterfront Park first.
okay. I heard you talk about your replying to Senator Singleton for the annual wish list for the Union Ave boat ramp, and the intent is to still maintain that as emergency use only?
Correct.
Good, excellent. And the discussion, Chief?
Yes.
You were talking about the scooters or e-bikes and stuff. What's the category of the, I don't know what they're called, pocket bikes or something?
Yeah, they still
Bigger?
fall on that 50 cc's, the size of the motor speed.
Yeah, they're like this high, and then the kid's about that high, and,
It'd be, like I said, it's the same thing as a bike. If they had a 20-inch bicycle,
yeah,
it's about the same height.
yeah, it's just scary as a ticket.
And that's what we try to tell the parents, because again, the same way they're operating their bicycle and not being safe crossing over intersections or crossing streets.
And it's virtually impossible. I mean, you see it, then if you do call the county, call 911, by the time you get through the 20 questions from the dispatcher, the kid's back home on his Xbox,
Well,
so,
that's what we encourage people, like, hey, do you have eyes on them still?
yeah,
Yes, okay. Where are they headed to? Which way do they go?
right.
That is paramount,
Yeah.
because that's information that we need. A lot of times people will just go and, well, I don't know which way you went. Well, where were you?
Right.
So
No,
that definitely helps. Yeah. But yeah, no, again, it's annoying for us as well. trust me, because,
I just don't
but
want to see a
again,
pile
yeah.
of teddy bears in the street corner, some kid wiped out,
And that's what we've told the parents, so, and then not just those bikes, just bikes in general. Like, we're telling the parent, hey, they need their helmets, they need to be paying attention.
Yeah.
So,
And there's nothing we can do locally to regulate that, right?
I mean, it's already regulated. What more are you gonna do?
That's what I
You
mean,
know,
like
that's
we
the thing.
can't
It's
even.
regulated. It's one of those things where they have to comply, and if they don't, again, they can be issued summons, but what gives a summons if a child is dead, So
I
the
know.
goal is for them to adhere to the rules and what they're there for. But again, we encourage them, and obviously too, when they see us, they're compliant. Just as motor vehicle operator, we can sit there all day long at an intersection. One person blows that stop sign. As soon as we leave, they're through it again. So, but we just try to encourage the parents. Listen, they have to wear their helmets. They need to be mindful of how they're traveling.
Well, and it's that, and, the poor soul that hits them.
Yeah.
That's their life.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No.
And last thing, nice job, everyone involved, Matt and Carolyn on the Hawk Island stuff. I mean, people going way back, Joan Hinkle, Larry Van Genderen, Deb Ritson, and on that have worked to protect Hawk Island. Finally, it's something that's usable and we can enjoy, and the police have been a partner in all that, getting stuff done, and John Fenimore and his crew. Do you have enough signs?
We set the all-time record. I think Delanco to sign bill.
EAB has more for you.
We have, if you're keeping track, there are 52 signs that Public Works put out at Hawk Island. And there's, I think, 14 more we have on order.
Oh, yeah, by the way, there's a supplement.
Good evening, my name is Frank Clare. I live at 6 Ross Farm Way. We've been a resident of Delanco for 22 years when we moved here. And we came from way out of town and we found it here and we thought, this is like a jewel, this is great, that's where we're gonna live. And to see that Pennington Park came to be and the Field of Dreams, and there was really a lot of green around, and so now we also have our share of warehouses, and we'd like to encourage you to vote at that we can see 401 Creek Road. Also, we gain its green and its status like that. So, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks for doing such a great job.
Thank you, we appreciate that. Anyone else? Ms. Lugo.
Kayla Lugo, 310 Walter Ave. We're having an issue with people speeding down our road and then going the opposite direction and speeding down the road. We have about 15 kids ages 1 through 12 within a 6 house on either side. So they're always outside playing now that it's spring. Is there anything that can be done? Maybe children at play signs or anything that can deter the speeding and then going the opposite direction?
It's a one-way street, right? Yeah.
Yeah, what street is that?
Walter.
Yeah, because we have that on Rancocas. It's a lot of these Uber drivers or whatever, Uber or DoorDash or whatever
Yeah, they
delivery.
make U-turns.
They just, park, deliver, U-turn. They do the same thing on Rancocas, and they are speeding.
Yeah.
So
I just pulled a
it's-
guy over the other day for that. So, absolutely, they're doing it. Same thing, let us know when you see it, and then, obviously, I can have a car sit there, because I know where you're at.
Yeah.
You can have a car sit there.
And
Yeah,
it's like right in
absolutely.
the middle of the longer part of
Mhm.
Walter.
Yep.
There's a lot of kids, and some are, I think a handful of them have disabilities, so they don't necessarily think to stop to go get the ball that's in the street. I have the little green men that I kind of put in the street to kind of slow them down a little bit. I don't know if that's legal, but it's slowing them down a
That's
little bit. But I didn't know if there was anything else that can be done.
I can definitely have directed patrol, that's fine, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna read children at play. They don't, like signs that we actually put there.
Yeah.
they're speeding, they don't really care anyway, so.
And my concern is like the big trucks.
Yeah.
Like residents that have the work trucks.
Sure.
They come the opposite way, speeding, so. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else for session 2? Okay, I'll close this session to the public. Move on to our discussion items. The State Planning Commission cross-acceptance response. Fern, Bev,
Yeah, hello.
thanks for your work on that. You want to talk about it?
Well, we were looking for some feedback from the Township Committee. Did meet, or went to the Joint Land Use Board meeting last week and got some good feedback from them. Actually, Lou Gardy, the attorney for the Joint Land Use Board, in reviewing our packet, had a few suggestions, and we went back and looked into it, and were able to put some more X's in the boxes that, on the forms that we had to fill out.
Cool.
So we're moving right along, and after tonight's meeting, if there's any other feedback from the Township Committee, looks like we'll submit this to the county by the end of this week.
Was it due by the end of last month?
I'm sorry?
I thought it was due by the 31st.
It was I believe, the 24th, and as the information was given to the Joint Land Use Board and the Township Committee, we also submitted a copy to the county, and
I see.
that was a draft and not our final version.
Okay. But they had it by the 24th.
They had it.
They had it.
Knowing that it was on the way, right, Fern?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any comments on this. And you guys did a good job putting it together. My only concern is, it's not really a concern, but it's just an observation. It's just, we submitted, it's just going to sit on the shelf with everything else we've ever submitted for a state agency or for the county to look at. So, we do these hazard mitigation plans, we do emergency response plans, 17 other different plans about some important thing that just gets submitted and then it sits on a shelf somewhere and nothing gets done with it. But that's state government for you.
Well, we're doing the very minimum that's required of us, and just because we opted out doesn't mean we actually opted out. We still have legal responsibilities that we have to fulfill, but we're not part of the actual requirements, all the requirements. We do
Right.
have some requirements, but not all the requirements.
Just like when we do those visioning sessions and the public came
Yeah.
out with all their comments on what they wanted to see in the plans, and then they promptly ignored everything that we had and gave us that whole plan implementation agreement that had nothing in there that the public wanted, so.
Well, going through this process and going through the checklist, our goal, Mrs. Russell and I, are to have, I guess, a binder or a location where we have these forms so that when things are requested, we have them.
Sure.
The biggest thing is the land use map of our community. And to Mrs. Guardy's point, the
I-3
What-
zone isn't on there?
well, the things that we have, or that the state has as open space and buildable land, we're trying to get that cleared up. And
Right.
so that the retention basin up at River Winds is not
Right.
buildable. It's a retention basin. And to get that on our map, looking at Boggs Ditch and Hawk Island, and getting the color coding and the proper description of the property or the lots so that it's not buildable. We know that, and because someone up in Trenton or in the federal government is looking at something online and is saying, oh, they got all this space here and they got all that space there, but if our maps are updated and then there's no need for them to really go any further than that.
Who updates these maps?
Well, it starts with us, and then it goes to the county,
Yeah.
and the county's gonna review that, and
Because I see the Bridge Commission did this map.
the Bridge Commission has done work in the past for the county, because they work hand in hand with the
Right.
county. So again, having that information updated there and then sent up to the state.
Okay, so when they update it, they'll send us a new color map? Is that the plan?
So they
Or
should update it.
do we have to do it?
They should update it from our presentation, I believe, because
Correct.
Fern presented this
Okay.
with the Joint Land Use Board, and I was in attendance there, and Lou had some good suggestions, Lou Gardy, which it appears that they've made. And, I mean, that's what our hope is, that they make the changes.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the purpose of doing this whole thing. So thank you, Fern, for doing this, and
Oh.
Bev.
Yes.
It's something that had to be done.
And we can go through with follow-up on this, just because we had to submit it, and then the county has to submit it, I believe, by the end of, or sometime in June to the state.
Yeah.
You know, there could be some follow-up on this. And, you know, maybe as we were going through the map, you know, and we get it back and say, oh, that should be colored green instead of red or orange, you know, and have that dialogue go back to the county before they submit.
And these were the same issues from last year when we were going through those COA numbers. I remember Mike was in the back with the whole list of properties that they included as available for development. You had the same thing, paper roads in there, the retention basins, Hawk Island, things like that, because it's the same data, garbage in, garbage out, so.
So it's updating
Yeah,
the data.
like I said, hopefully they do something with it.
Hopefully they communicate with other departments too.
Yeah. So we've done our job. It's up to them to do their job.
Yep.
I think it was last meeting, or maybe the township committee meeting before, where the state or the county was looking to do some type of trail, and it was gonna end in Delanco.
Yeah, they
Is that-
applied for a grant for a feasibility study.
Okay.
I think it's the bike trail.
Yeah,
And
pedestrian.
I thought we had done something like that years ago.
We did for the Heritage.
It was the Heritage Trail.
Yeah, the Heritage
Yeah, this is to
Trail.
connect Florence to Delanco.
Yeah, and that's part of the Heritage Trail. It's the next connection.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring it back up, if we could, at the next meeting to, I guess, put a little bit of support, or put support behind that project that they're doing. Because the things that our neighboring towns do have an effect on us, and this study, or we're part of the river
Yeah.
corridor.
We did
And-
write a letter of
Oh,
support.
We did, okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
signed it and sent it to them
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
2 weeks ago when they asked for it, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Nice job.
Yes, thank you for your work on that, Fern and Beverly. Appreciate that, taking that on. Okay, next item is the Delanco proposed seal. We had Sue Matera at our last meeting present her beautiful design, and we had met to talk about maybe some revisions, and she sent us some revisions. So it looks nice. The wheat was moved to the inside circular pattern, and we moved Township of Delanco to the outside, and put New Jersey instead of the established date, since it just made more sense to me.
Questionable. And we removed the
Yeah.
fish.
And we removed the fish, yes.
The seal.
Yeah, so.
The dolphin.
Yeah. It was a bass.
This is the design,
Yeah, it looks nice.
and the plan is to put it behind us in a big vinyl color, so we can brighten up this wall a little bit and make it official, and then get a metal plate of it, not color, and put it on the front of the dais here. So we know where we are, because it literally says nothing about Delanco in here. So we'll be celebrating our centennial next year, so maybe we can even put 100 years under this in vinyl as well. So does anybody have any feedback on this on the committee? Everybody's cool with it?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I like the revisions that were
it's
She
made.
did
really
an
nice.
excellent job. She's a true artist, that girl.
Yes, and Matt, thank you for your work on it, getting it started.
Yes, Matt, thank you for starting it.
And, okay, so a motion to approve our official seal as it is in our packet here.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Phil, second by Kate, all in favor? Kate, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, great. So let's move forward on this. I asked Bev to take a look at the metal workings to get the official seal. And could you let Susan know, Kate, that
Yeah.
we approved it, if she could send us the high res? And Matt, do you want to take the lead?
Yeah, just, I'm
What?
sorry, one thing, I'm just sitting here looking at this. Maybe she could just fix the spacing on the letters in Delanco. It looks, I don't know, it
Oh,
looks a little off
It
to
does
me.
look a little off, yeah. Just the spacing between the
The-
E and
the
the
L-
L and the A.
Yeah,
It's
the L,
touching
between
the
the L and
A,
the
but
A
not
and the A and the N.
Oh, yeah.
So just
But I
that.
think it's
So
fine
what,
otherwise.
it's the A?
Yeah, see how it's like the L is touching the A?
Yeah, I
but
have
there's a
that
darker
one.
space between the E
And the A and the
Yeah,
N.
just so it looks more uniform.
Oh, space.
Do you want to take the lead on getting the vinyl done?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. And I guess we can rebrand now, or do we need to have like anything like official other than our motion to rebrand this? Anybody official, like
Should
an
we do a
attorney,
motion,
want to
Janice?
weigh in on that?
I think Doug,
You've done a motion to accept the seal, so I would ask Tom, just a little bit of history. We had a logo, a township logo, it had the clock, it had Delanco and the Delaware Timeless Treasure. It wasn't the official seal, but it was kind of our logo
Yeah, there
that
it
we
is.
went by.
Yep.
And we did go through a TM process
Yeah.
that Doug handled.
yep.
So I don't know if this has to go through a TM process so that no one steals it?
He and I talked about this briefly today. I think he would like to encourage you to do, I think, Mayor, the motion this evening was good.
Okay.
Good start. I think he wants to do a more formal resolution at the next meeting to wrap up some of those details.
Do we need to trademark it too?
Pardon?
Trademark?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to bootstrap us in case.
Yep, in case there's
Somebody
another
tries to steal
Delanco
it.
in the United States.
New Jersey.
Well, 'cause if you don't, somebody could take this design, trademark it, and then sue us for using it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it, so.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Tom.
No, you're right.
No, you're right.
So do we need to trademark it before we,
I think he's, in part of that resolution, he's going to authorize you to take those necessary steps.
okay. But do we hold off on printing anything before we do that?
When's your next meeting?
I would.
Next meeting's in 2 weeks, unless you're talking about next time Doug's here, which is the
Yeah.
first meeting in May, 5th or whatever.
Can't imagine, Mayor, that you're going to be at risk, but maybe I just put the jinx on it too. I think you could proceed cautiously.
Okay. Appreciate that. All right, anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
Yes.
Sure.
I guess it's backtracking a little bit, but the reason I voted no on 401 Creek Road with the bond is that not everyone is in a position in our community to be able to afford the extra expenses. You know, our country, our state, we just as being people, you know, going to the grocery stores, dealing with these unknown tariffs and how they're going to impact people's lives. I can't afford some things. And I consider myself and my wife to be in fairly good condition. And, you know, there are people that aren't as fortunate. You know, people go to the food banks, people struggle to pay their rents, insurance costs, car costs, everything's going up. And that was my reason for voting no, is that people out there are struggling. And if, you know, there was state money or county money somewhere to offset some of this, you know, it'd be great, and I would probably feel more comfortable in being able to vote yes on that bond. I'm just very uncomfortable, and maybe I feel for people too much, you know, and so that's why I voted no. I just want to let you know that. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard, on the security cameras, so the next step is to issue a PO and then get a date scheduled? Who's
Yeah,
going to
well,
spearhead that?
There's a lot more paperwork dealing with this
Yeah,
contract. So once we get the paperwork, we told them, okay, we're committed to it. Because Gridless is doing it, but they're buying equipment from Ricotta, but the cooperative contracts with this Caresoft, we've got to get on their system. So there may be several weeks of paperwork before we can then order it.
okay,
But yeah, but then you issue the purchase order once we know exactly how to do it.
yeah,
And then they'll tell us when it'll come in.
yeah.
I noticed they finally got the right amount, because the
Yes,
last one didn't.
yes, they did. I echoed my concerns about, obviously, they're coming from overseas, about additional tariffs. So once we issue that PO, are we locked in with them?
As far as I know, yeah, there's they made the proposal, we verified it. They didn't say they were changing anything.
Okay,
So as far as we know, it's a legitimate number. It's the number that is with the cooperative agreement. If they change it, then that means the cooperative agreement's out the window and start from scratch kind of thing.
okay,
You know.
Okay.
I spoke with them, we emailed back and forth. We think we're nailed down, except for they've got to get us on the Care For list, who is the people we actually are contracting with. They're the ones who developed the system, and then it's got a contractor who builds the equipment, and then a contractor locally who installs it.
okay.
So it's a little bit more complicated than our normal purchase.
And then these are they also run on SIM cards? Do you know? Do we have to get the priority SIM cards for these?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll
I
figure
know
that out
everything's
too.
in the cloud, so that was the
Yeah.
policy
Yeah,
there.
it's in the cloud.
In the cloud, but.
Yeah, so it's probably using the Wi-Fi technology. The
Wi-Fi,
cameras at the waterfront park are going to use the SIM
The
cards.
same thing. Well, I think ours is Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't have Wi-Fi out there, so we're going to get the SIM cards for them to
We have
connect.
Wi-Fi. Yeah, that,
And you have to order them because they're priority SIM cards from the police department. Harry,
You're gonna tell
were
me
I
that?
talking to you about that? Okay, I forget who I was talking about. I'll talk to you about it later. All good. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Mr. Fenimore.
Everybody's always asking me, what about the house on Burlington Avenue?
So,
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy you asked that.
Yeah.
We are actively working on that. There's been hiccups with the county and PSC&G and, yeah. So right now, the county did sign off on their permit to disconnect the electric. Matt actually emailed PSC&G this morning to say, hey, listen, you've had your permit for 10 days now, what's the holdup? But they signed on with the demo company, all the different organizations signed off on it, so it should be literally any day now.
Great. It'd be surprising how many people ask me.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
I know, I get it.
They're asking all of us
It's
too.
really-
It is a
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah,
really is.
we're on top of it, trust me,
Yeah.
we've done our due diligence to get that down.
Yeah.
Yes, nobody, it's dangerous how it is, that condition.
And it's just a bad reminder to the families who
Sure.
were in there, who drive by it all the time now.
Anybody else? All good?
Oh, good.
Ready to go home?
Yep.
Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm still hungry.
Thank you, good night.
You can go get dinner.
Oh, speaking of, not dinner, the trail between the lake and the river,